Hey guys, and welcome to another video. This is actually one of those StarCraft videos where I want to talk a little bit more about the community, not really about the state of the game, but a bit about what's going on these days within the StarCraft community, and also address a few issues that I currently have. And the whole thing, if you follow my Twitter, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It kind of started with MLG. And it started with the qualifier that we had in North America. So this is one of the things that I'm a little bit passionate about. And I want to give a few examples today and also try to talk about how we could improve on what's currently going on and address the arguments that I always receive when I talk about what I don't like about the community. So in case that you didn't really follow what's going on or what was happening, we had a North American qualifier for WCS, and a lot of the things that happened there completely went wrong. Like, there were a lot of problems and a lot of issues with it, so the community completely went apeshit about it. There was a huge witch hunt on Reddit going on, and everyone blamed MLG for a bad production and kind of called them out. And I don't really have a problem with them being called out for it, because a lot of those things could have been avoided, could have done better. They already promised they will do so in the future, but it shouldn't have happened in the first place, and I completely agree with that. The problem that I have is how those things were addressed and how the community really tried to witch hunt down on MLG, especially now in a situation where just a month ago we had MLG Dallas, where everyone was so happy about what was going on. The entire tournament was a blast, and we had so many good games. We had an awesome production. We had a free 1080 stream, and everyone was like, oh my god, this is awesome, this is brilliant, thank you so much. But now, just a month later, nobody talks about that anymore. Everyone is just bashing on MLG and like hating on what was happening and saying, okay, you guys suck, this shouldn't have happened, and you should have done this, you should have done that. So I really didn't like how the reaction of the community was phrased. And just to be 100% clear on that, I don't oppose like critic. Like, criticizing someone when something went wrong is absolutely okay. There's no problem with that. It's just how you phrase your criticism. That's basically what I'm getting at here. And I want to talk a little bit about how we can maybe improve this in the future, why I have a problem with that behavior, and what it can lead towards to. That's something that I really I feel very strongly about. I'm really passionate about this because we had very similar things back in the days with the Warcraft 3 community, and I feel in StarCraft 2 we're actually at a really good place, and we have a lot of tools where we can work with this. So let's just talk a little bit about what's usually going on when we have such an extreme reaction of the community. One of the main reasons, or one of the main arguments that always comes up, is that it's only a very vocal minority that is talking this way, that is behaving in a bad way, and that you can't really do anything about it. And I actually don't think that this is really true, because in the age that we live in, there is just no excuse for this kind of behavior, and we can regulate this. I mean, we have all the tools at our disposal. I'm going to talk a little bit more about Reddit today than I will about Team Liquid. It's very similar. Those are the two big communities that we have in StarCraft, and I feel that on both websites you can do a lot of things to improve how people think, how people talk, and how the community is also perceived by people who just come into the community for the first time. But it's a little bit easier on Reddit. This is why I'm going to focus a little bit more on Reddit today. But the same is basically also true for Team Liquid. So the argument that you will always see is, as I already mentioned, that it's only a vocal minority. And this is actually a very dangerous argument, because what you do is you basically say, well, it's not me, it's the others. And it's only them. And it's only a very small fraction of the community. And, well, you can't do anything about it. It's a very, very dangerous argument to make, because the problem is that you might have heard in the past the proverb, the cleverer gives in, the smart one gives in. And this is something that is always worries me a little bit, because if you look at it at first, it's kind of true. You want to be a person who is able to change his own opinion, who is able to just let something go. But if you always do that, then the only thing that you will ensure is that the idiots will take charge of the situation and determine what's going on next. So that's true for everything in your life. And this is also true that it's something that is very true in elections, for example. This is why in every country people tell you that even if you're usually not a very active person in politics, you should vote. You should vote for one of the big parties to make sure that the extremists don't get a lot of more influence or seats. That's true in kind of every country, I guess. And it's one of the arguments that are always being made. Go and vote, even if you don't know what to vote for. Vote for one of the popular parties, or just have a quick glance at what you think is making the best influence right now, or making the best arguments. But make sure that you vote, that you do not vote. And this is also the case in StarCraft, in my opinion. With Reddit, we have such a powerful tool at our hands where you can up and down vote a post. And it is a very bad argument to make that you can't change anything, because if this very vocal minority is really a minority, then it should be no problem to regulate it a little bit and to make sure that the community comes across as much better as it currently is looking. Because if you think about it, all you have to do is you go on Reddit and you browse to the front page and you up and down vote the posts that you think contribute or don't contribute to the community. That's all you have to do. And it's a click. And you don't even risk anything. People talk about civil courage in our daily life. And I get the argument that some people make that they're afraid to step up when they see someone being bullied in public because they are afraid of being like attacked on their own. They are being afraid of like the guy having a weapon. But on the internet, that excuse is not valid at all. There's no downside. I'm not even asking for people to get into arguments with others and to make posts and to try to explain to them that the way that they behave is wrong and why it's wrong. But on a page like Reddit, you can just up and down vote a post, and that should regulate everything. So if there's actually like a hate thread, a witch hunt being upvoted to the front page of Reddit, that mirrors exactly the community for the reason given. Because there is just no excuse to not downvote that. So the argument it's only a vocal minority is completely invalid. If that lands on the front page of Reddit, this is what the community thinks about and what the community talks about. And if all those reasonable people that apparently are out there don't engage in the community itself, that's a really sad thing to do, especially since it only takes 2 minutes to set up an account on Team Liquid, on Reddit, and make sure that there is a bit of reasoning behind this. And it's something that really gets me going a little bit, because I'm very sad of how people think about the community today. For one of the things that always happens is that we will every now and then have a thread on Team Liquid, on Reddit, where people say, well, I'm new to StarCraft 2 and I just came into the subreddit, but I'm really at a point right now where I don't know if this community is really worth engaging, because it's just so harsh and it's just so mean towards other people. So I feel that's something where we should really work at it, and where we should really try to improve a bit on what's going on right now. I want to blow this out of proportion for just a second. This is, of course, only related in a very extreme sense, but the one thing, or one of the communities where the argument was always, well, it was only a minority, was actually after the Second World War. When the Nazis came to power in Germany, and later on when the war was lost, people were always talking about that it was only a very small minority of the people in Germany being involved in the whole thing, and that everyone else was just afraid to step up and to do something about it. And this is something that has been discussed for centuries right now. And it's a very, of course, sore point, especially in German history. But I just want to make this point so that you see what an extreme of the same principle actually is. So you should always try to call something out that you think is wrong. And if it's not by posting somewhere and putting your name on a post where you talk against it, then at least have the courage to up and down vote it. There is no downside to you. And that's something that everyone should do to just make the StarCraft community better. People always say that the StarCraft community is actually quite good compared to other communities, and I actually think that's crap, because the StarCraft community can do amazing things. They did so in the past. There are a lot of good projects within the community that is really amazing, and that was always great to just observe and to witness. But at the same time, we have all these negative things going on where we could do so much more. And comparing us to other communities that are worse, that doesn't really do anything. I mean, what kind of argument is that? Yes, things are wrong here, but it's much worse over there. What is that? That's stupid. That's bullshit. You always should try to make your own community a lot better. And I would love to live in a community that is really trying to help other people out, to make sure that things just are going forward. And so that also people who come into the community for the first time will have a positive image about it. So I feel that this is really something that we should do and that we can do. And I know that I'm starting to rant a little bit, but I hope that I'm getting my point across here. It's just I wanna make sure that you guys understand that there is so much that you can do, even though it might seem only to be very little. Even by just posting on the forums, by talking or by calling out other people that behave in a bad way, or that start witch hunts, that flame, or downvoting their posts, you can do so much. it really shapes the community. If everyone does this, then we will have a much better StarCraft community than we already do. And of course, you should always make sure that you also criticize people when something's going wrong. But the main issue is how you do that. You should be objective. You should make sure that you have constructive criticism going on, and that you don't jump on a hate bandwagon, basically. So I think at this point, I'm just trying to say that I would love to see more people engaged in the community, and even if it's only on a very little scale. You can do that very easily without actually putting in any kind of effort. Most people go on Reddit anyways to have an idea of what's going on. So if you have an account there, then you just need to upvote and downvote the posts that you think contribute to the community or don't. And if you don't have an account, just create one. It's 2 minutes. It's really not a lot of time that you invest here. And of course, I'm not trying to revolutionize the internet here or to better it. I know that's not possible. But I feel that simply within our small community, we could still strive to be a little bit better and to make sure that things might be a bit smoother in the future, and that there will be criticism, but it will be addressed in a different way, in a different manner, so that it's just a more happy environment to live in. I hope that I kind of got my point across, and that you don't think, okay, well, let this idiot rant, he has no idea what he's talking about. But I really would like to see people trying to better the community a little bit more and engage in it, instead of just sitting back and looking at what's going on and saying, well, it's not me, I'm not doing anything. Because that's not true. If you sit there and you don't do anything, that is actually helping all the trolls out there, and that's something that you shouldn't do. So I really hope that we will be able in the future to make this to make maybe a bit of a difference. I hope that quite a lot of people will watch this video and maybe act upon it. I would love to see that, and I guess that's all I wanted to say for today. So guys, have a good weekend, and I guess I see you tomorrow. Bye bye.